Welcome to our webinar called Getting Started, Upload Your Contacts, and Send Your First Email in Constant Contact. Thanks so much for joining us today and welcome to Constant Contact. Today you're going to see how to upload your contacts, create an email, and send that email, and get started in your account. If you'd like, you can log into your Constant Contact account now and follow along with the live session. It is helpful if you have two screens where you can pull up your account and the webinar in separate places to follow along. If that's not possible, or you'd rather just sit back and watch and absorb the information, that's okay too. We will send you a recording in a couple hours, so you can always rewatch it. You can pause, you can rewind, skip ahead, so you can always log into your account when you have the recording and follow along that way instead. So either way works, but with that, let's go ahead and dive in. And I do want to just formally introduce myself real quick before we get into all this good information here. So my name's Caitlin, and I'm a manager on the professional services team at Constant Contact. I've been here about 11 years, so I have a lot of experience with email marketing, with online marketing. I'm excited to bring my experience to the session and also make sure you get your questions answered. So if any questions come up throughout the session, click over to the Q&A tab on the right side of your screen. Type that in, that'll come to me, and I also have a colleague in our chat behind the scenes that will answer a lot of the questions for us, and I'll probably get to a few at the end as well. So if something comes to your mind that you're wondering about, go ahead and send that in. Let's look more specifically at what we'll cover today. So we are going to talk about uploading your contact list. We'll discover all the different options we have for that. And then we will walk through creating an email and sending that email and discussing time-saving tips for future communications. And then we will navigate the account, get a little bit of a tour to help you get started. And I'll unveil some additional tools that will set you up for ongoing success. With that said, let me pull up Constant Contact and let's dive in and learn how to get started. All right, so we are logged in to Constant Contact and we are just on the home page right now. And the first thing I want to look at is uploading contacts. So before you can send an email, you do need some people to send it to. Whether it's a small list, a big list, it's important to get those contacts in your account. So to get started with that, I will click on Contacts here at the top. And I'm going to go to this All Contacts option. This will just take me to the main contacts page, or we can go into our different options here. So like I said, if you have a small list, if you have a big list, there's various ways to get the contacts in the account. If you don't have many contacts, that's okay. You can start small. It's important to just start building up so you can send as soon as possible. So to add the contacts, you will see an Add Contacts button in the top right. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then you can see our three main options are here. We do have different tools, integrations, ways to grow your list. So those are listed here. You can also download our mobile app, the Google Play and Apple. If you just search Constant Contact, there's an app and you can upload contacts from your phone. But we're going to go through these three options, starting with create a new contact. So this is just for one person. They've handed you a business card, or it's just a one-off situation where you have a new person to add to your list. I am going to type in the email address I want to add, click continue, and then I have the opportunity to fill in as much information as I want about this person. It's all optional. Really, I just need an email address to send to them. But if you have it, it's good to include because you can use it for personalization and segmentation and targeting in the future. Now I do need to confirm that I have permission to email this person. So I'll make sure to do that. Let me fill in a first and last name. I'll say this is Jack Smith. And then we're going to be saving these to a contact list. So by default, you'll probably see a general interest list in your account. You can add them to that, or I'm going to be putting together a list. We'll build this so that we can send our email to this group of people later. We're going to be creating an email for Jack's Backyard Barbecue. So I'm going to create a list of barbecue contacts. So we'll save that. Let's do Jack's Barbecue Contacts. And then we'll save. And Jack is in here, so that is good to go. So that's how you add one person. Now let's say you have a handful of people you want to add. I would come back to Add Contacts. And then we do have this Type or Paste Contacts. So this would be if you have several email addresses written down on a piece of paper, if you're just copying and pasting from your Gmail, people that you've emailed before that you communicate with, or various things like that. This is what you would use that option for. So it would be more than one, but maybe less than 10 to 20, I would say. And there's two ways to do it through this method. So you can do this enter contact details, where you type, and then you can have 4 additional fields besides email address. So you could also include their company name, their address, but you are typing it in then. Very manual process. You can also do paste names and emails. And this will allow you to, it's only first name, last name, and email address. So if you have additional fields, it probably isn't the best way to do it. But you just copy and paste them in here. So I'm going to do that, the copy and paste. Let me pull up, I just have like a notepad that of people I've collected in my computer here. So to add them, I would copy this group of people, click into the box, paste that. If it's yellow, that means it's formatted correctly. It usually will flag it if it's missing like a .com or an @ symbol or something like that. From here, I need to click continue and then add them to the list. So for this method, I click the plus sign to choose my list. I could create a new list, or let's add them onto that same list here. And then click import, and then it'll bring these in as well. And it'll add them onto that list. Now something that's really helpful is as you start sending out emails, you might get a few people here and there unsubscribing. If that's the case, it will leave them off your list. So that's what this message up here is letting me know, is one of these people unsubscribed from us in the past, so it didn't add them. All right. Now the final way I'll show you, and this is probably the most common method, is uploading from a file. This is really the best way if you have a group of contacts. You may, your CRM, your database program, most of those let you export contacts into a CSV or Excel file. So that's a big situation where you would want to use that method. Sometimes people just keep track of their contacts in a spreadsheet. That's how you've collected them in the past. That works as well. So to get those in here, let's click Upload from File. And I do want to show you an example file first. I'll show you what we're going to upload, and then we'll walk through that. So here's the file I'm going to upload. Basically, you can have things in whatever order you want, but the main thing is have a separate column for each field that you want to upload. And then it's very helpful to have the first row in your spreadsheet with the label of what's in that column to make it easier for the system to identify what the information is. Now, at a minimum, I just need email address. If I also want to upload my SMS contacts, Constant Contact does have a texting tool. Then you would need the SMS number and the consent date, the date you got permission to text them. But otherwise, everything else is optional. But like I said earlier, if you have the information, upload it. So first name, last name, I have zip codes, birthday, and I even have collected their favorite food. Since we're a restaurant, we've asked our customers and gotten some of that information. So now with this file, I'm going to click upload right here and then just find where it is saved on my computer. Then I will click continue here in the top right. So now what it's done, it's looked for the fields. So this is why I said it's helpful to label each column, because now it looked at each of my labels and it was able to match most of them up for me. So I know that my first column had first names, and it does show you the first couple bits of information in each column to help you match it as well. But first, these were first names and it matched it as a first name. Last name, email address, all of these look correct. Now it couldn't find a field for this last one, favorite food. That makes sense though. That's not a standard field in Constant Contact, so we'll want to add that field. So I will click on my drop down, and it does have some suggested matches. I can look through my different options, but I want to create a custom field. With this, I could do a text field, so just write out some text, or a date field. It actually did look at how I labeled it in the spreadsheet and already wrote out favorite food for me. So I'm just going to keep it like that, but you can type whatever you want there and then save it. And now that it's saved, it is saved as a field. So the next time I upload a file, it should be able to match that up right away. But I've got all my green check marks and everything does match as I skim through here. So I'm going to click continue. And then we do have to indicate that I have permission to email these people. I have permission to text these people. And then we will choose the list to save them to and import. Depending on the size of your file, your contact list, this could take anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes. It will let you know when it's done. So my 10 contacts were added up here at the top. And now I have some contacts built out here. I have 21 in my account. I have a list that I added them all to. So I am ready to create an email and send it to them. So let's switch gears and do that. There's something I want to set up first. I want to add my colors, my logo, and some pictures in order to set up a theme and some branding for my emails. We have a really super easy way to do that under the tools. It's what we call our brand kit. So if you go to tools, brand kit, you can upload a logo, you can get the colors added, even add a few pictures yourself. Right here, these three options. Or even easier, you can put in your website and it'll scan it. So let me just do an example here. I'll click scan my website and it'll look for that information for me. It'll try to find a logo, it'll grab some colors, some pictures, and then I can take everything it found and build my theme very quickly. So I'm going to add a logo after this. It wasn't able to pull that in, which is fine. This is just an example landing page that I'm using. So then I will indicate the colors that I want for my theme. Jack's Backyard Barbecue mostly uses orange and brown for their branding. I think black and white is good. A light brown is good, but then let's uncheck the rest of these. And then images, I'll keep the ones checked I want to keep. This isn't the only place or time to upload images. You can do it later. But this is just a really easy way to grab the images from your website and have them uploaded to use later. So then over here it says apply your brand colors. So now we can start taking these colors and indicating where we want them used. So the outer background, I like that orange. Inner background, I'm going to switch that to white. I think the inner background of an email, always good to keep that a light color or even just white so you can read the text. Body text, black is good. Button, let's do the dark brown. You can see it has the colors it found down here, so it makes it really easy. And let's have the button text color be white. So we're kind of getting a sense here of how that's going to look. And then I can click continue and fine tune it even more. So it's starting to put this together for me. I do want to make sure to come over here for my logo and add it. So I'll click add logo. Now it did find the logo for me. So all I have to do is just select it. If it's not in your account, you'll click upload here and upload it from your computer. But let's add that logo. So then I come back up here to my theme. So it has it labeled as a new theme for me here. And then this is a preview of what the theme looks like. Now this isn't an actual email. This isn't something I edit. This is just a preview of the color scheme. So I think this mostly looks good. Maybe I want my link colors to be orange. So any link I add will be orange. But otherwise, I think that looks good. So with this set up, with our theme in place, now we can choose a template and apply this theme, and it'll make it really quick and easy to start designing the template I want to send out. So to do that, we will be switching over to our marketing tab, and I will click on email. This is where all the email campaigns will be saved once I create and send them. And then this is of course where you go to create an email. You'll just click this create an email blue button in the top right. So I'll go ahead and do that. Now it's going to bring up our template picker. And you do have a lot of options here. So there's a lot of pre-made templates. There's different holidays, different industries in here, different types of messaging. So you can choose any one of these that you like. You can search. There's a search bar at the top if you want to search for your industry or a topic, things like that. They're all very customizable. So if you like the way something looks, but it's not your industry, like if you like this one, this is a real estate one, but you can just switch out the logo and a couple things and customize it to a different business. However, we want to use our theme. We want to get it very personalized to our own brand. So if I want a template with my theme, that'll be under the layout templates. These are templates with various types of layouts with our theme applied. So with this, you can scroll through, start to think about what you are going to be sending out and choose something close to that. All of these I'll be showing you are very customizable, so you're not stuck with anything that's in here, but you just want to find something that's a good starting point. I'm going to go very basic so that I can show you how to take a template and customize it, add things, remove things, and do it that way. So I'm going to go with card, this very basic one here. And you can see I do have the option to select it with my branding. I could also preview it, but I want to go into this one, so I'll select with brand. Now what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to get this set up exactly the way I want. So I want to come up with a layout that I'm going to use every time I send an email. I'm going to get it all ready, and then I'm actually going to save this as a template. And then this is the template I'll use every time I send an email. Once this is set up, it's very easy to select a template you've pre-made for yourself, plug in your content, and send it out. So that's going to be our goal with this email today. So the first thing I'm going to do here in the top left, let's edit this name. This is just an internal name. It is only seen by me, but this should be a little more specific. So I'll call it Master Template Jack's Barbecue Restaurant. Okay, so this is going to be my master template for the restaurant here. Now, let's start at the top in our email settings. Let's get that set up first, and then we'll go into the design. So I'll click Email Settings here at the top. This is where you'll get your subject line, pre-header, from name, from address, and reply to address set up. All the things in your header. Now the subject line and pre-header are going to change every time I send an email. So I'm fine to just leave the default text for now. But for my master template, I want to make sure my from name and from address are accurate and are the ones that I'll be using every time I send an email. Your from name should be recognizable. So when they see that in their inbox, they'll know exactly who it's coming from and will be more likely to open it. Your business name might already be in here if you already have that saved on your account. So you might not even need to change this, but you can have this say whatever you need it to be. Then you have the from address. So this is the email address that it looks like it's coming from. Select the one that you want to use. If you need to change this to something else, you can click add another email. And there's a few things you might have to do here. You might have to verify an email address if you haven't verified it yet. That'll send you an email to confirm it's a real email address. If you want to use an email address that has your domain as part of it, you'll need to authenticate that as well. So all the instructions are right here on the screen where it says learn more, and that'll give you some more information on how to do that. But choose something that's recognizable. And for the reply to address, this is the address. If they click reply, this is the email address it'll go to. So that can actually be something different. If there's an inbox that you have all customer emails go into, you could change it to that, or you could just leave it the same as the from address. But mine's looking the way I want, so I will save it. And now we can dig into the design. So I'm just going to work through the different blocks in here, make some tweaks, and maybe add in a few things as well to get this looking the way I want. The first thing I want to do, I actually would prefer to have this logo at the top. I think it's always a good idea to have that be the first thing people see to really drive that brand awareness home and make it recognizable. So to move this to the top, I'm hovering my mouse over it. You can see it turned into this 4 arrows. So I click, hold down my mouse, drag it up, let go of my mouse. Now it's there at the top. Now something you want to do with every image in an email template is make it a clickable link. And one thing you'll always want to have linked up especially is your logo. Link that up to your website. That way, if someone happens to click on it, you can drive some traffic to your website. And this is important to do in your master template so that your logo is just always linked up to your home page is usually a good place to do it. So I'm going to click directly on the logo. You can see my link option came up here to the top, and I'll click web page. Let's paste in my website, click insert, and that's good to go. So now if someone clicks on this, they'll get taken to my website. Moving on down here, I like this image placeholder. I think this is a perfect spot to leave room for an image. You always want to have at least one image in your email, but not too many at the same time. Try to limit it maybe 2 or 3 because you don't want your emails to get too long either. But it is important to have an image because it brings your marketing communications to life and it's just more engaging. So it could be a picture of a product you're selling, a picture from an event, anything that ties into what your message is. Now, because this is my master template, I'm going to leave the placeholder here, and then I will switch this out every time I send an email. Now, if the template you chose doesn't have an image placeholder, those are very easy to drop in. That's from the blocks. So if you're on build here on the left, if you look under blocks, tons of different options. There's layouts as well. We'll be looking at a few of these in a minute. But to add your placeholder, I click down on where it says image, hold down my mouse, drag it over, drop it in. And then that will give you a tiny little place, just a placeholder. You can drop any size image in here and it will switch out and allow you to put an image there. But I don't need both, so I'm going to click on this. The trash can comes up here to the top for me. Delete that. Okay, now something I want to add next is a headline. It's always important to have a place where you can type 1 to 2 sentences, really drawing people into your message. A good layout to use for that is either this heading or the section heading. So I'll click and drag in heading. Just looks like that. A section heading is very similar, just has a background color. So either one of those work pretty well. I'm going to delete this one. So I'm hovering my mouse. I haven't clicked on it yet. I'm going to click on the gear. And there's a little trash can for that. Delete this layout. All right, so I'm just going to leave the default text for now. Since this is my master template, I'll switch that out every time with something new. Now you can see next, as I'm hovering my mouse, it's showing me all the different blocks that are in here. And underneath the headline, I have a couple spacer blocks, is what it's called. You can drag those in from here. But it adds blank space, and they're awesome for spacing out your content however you need, but you also don't need too many spacers. So I'm actually going to click on this one and trash it. I just think a little less space will look good. All right, now we have our text block. So you definitely need an area for some text. This is where you're going to write your main message, driving people to take action. So I have the placeholder for it already. If you need to add in a text block, that is under blocks, the one with the T for text, drag, drop. That's how you would get that in there if you need to add one into your template. But I don't need to, so I'll trash that one. And now we have a button. So if your template doesn't have a button, definitely drag one of those in. That's here from the left side, button. This is for your call to action. Every email you send should have a call to action, just some sort of action you want them to take that'll help you meet your goal. Buttons are a perfect way to do that. They stand out. I already have it branded from my brand kit, and it's just a really easy way for them to see what they need to click on to take the action you want them to take. So I don't need both, so I'll delete that out. And then this will change for each email as well. So we'll leave the default button there for now. And I think that's good for the body of the email. The next thing I want to set up is what I like to call a little footer. It's a good idea to always have a little section at the bottom of all your templates. So you can just set it up in your master template and then you don't need to touch it after that. But it'll have all your contact information at the bottom. So address, phone number, social media, website. And there is this footer down here. This is your address, and it also has the unsubscribe link. Both of these are required by law for the spam laws. So if your address isn't down here yet, make sure to click in here and get that typed in. It does need to be there before you can send. But I want a little bit more than this, and I want to create just this little separate section in my template to provide more information. To add a new section to your template, there is this option under sections on the left side. Or even easier, I can click this plus sign and it'll add it here. Sections are great because you can drag in various blocks and layouts into its own section, and then you can move the sections around, you can customize them, change the colors, things like that. So it's a good way to divide up your template if you want to keep things separate and organize things more. So this section is going to be my contact information footer. So what I'm going to add, first of all, is a text box. I want to be able to add my address, my phone number, and let me do that now. I'm going to copy and paste in some text. So I'm going to click into the text block. With any text box, once you're clicked into it, all your options come to the top for you. So any sort of option, all the basics that you would see in any sort of text editor are there. So I'm going to highlight the filler text, delete it, paste in my information, and then I can center it. So that'll be this up here. I could maybe make the business name a little bolder, a little bigger, something like that. So you can see address, phone number, hours. And then I want to add my social media as well. Now my template actually has some buttons, so I could move those down. Or if you need to get that added into your template, that's going to be the social follow option. Social follow. So we'll click, drag that, and have those little buttons down there. Then I need to link these up. So I click on the buttons. At the top, click Edit. Then I choose my style. You can actually, various options there, various colors. I'll just stick with this one. And then this is very important. Make sure to click this arrow and actually fill in the links to each of these pages. Now it is showing Facebook, Instagram, and then an option I can put in my website, but you can add other things: X, LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Google My Business, and email if you want to put a button with your email address. I'll stick with Facebook. So I'm just pasting in the link. Same with Instagram and the website. Like I said, if I needed to add something, I would choose it from the list. It'll pop over there. If I need to remove something, click the X and it removes itself. All right, well that looks really good. Now, since this is set up, one last thing I want to do actually is change the font to Tahoma, because that's what the rest of it was. You really don't want to do more than 1 to 2 fonts per email. And from here, I don't need these 2 blocks, so let's trash those. So I'm just clicking on it, clicking trash at the top. There's a couple more spacers. Since I deleted some blocks, I need to probably delete some of this extra space as well. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. So now that we have a master template, and actually let me point out one more thing. So we do have our design, our colors, mostly set up because we did that ahead of time. But if you need to change something, just hop over to the design tab and you can edit all of that here, background, fonts, and buttons. So if you need your master template to be a very specific sort of branding, do that here. But now I'm ready to actually use this to send an email. So to do that, I am going to, if it's not saved already, you'll click save at the top. Mine auto-saved, lets me know up there. And I'm actually going to get out of this. So let's go to marketing and go back to email. I'm going to save this as a template so that I can select it every time I want to send an email. So we'll see the draft once this page loads up here. And what I can do is come over to my 3 dots and save it as a template. Now while we're here, I'll point out I could also just make a copy of this email. I can schedule the email to send from here, preview, download and print, and delete are the other options I have. But let's save this as our template. So I'll click Save as Template. And then you'll name it. So let's call it Master Template Jack's Backyard Barbecue Restaurant Template. It does need to be named something different, so we'll just go with that. Now it's saved. So I could hop up here to find it, but I want to show you how to navigate to where it's saved. So I'll click Create an Email. And what I'm doing here is let's say I'm ready to send an email. I have a brisket promotion. So I click create an email, and then instead of starting from scratch with one of these templates, I'll come in. There's now an option that says saved templates. So I've clicked onto that. I will select, it's right here, the one we saved. So I'll select that. And it'll pull open a new draft. And once I reach this point, I just have to fill in my content, do a quick test, and hit send. So once you have all of this master template thing set up, your email marketing is going to get very quick from here. So I do want to name it. So let's do this. Brisket promo for Jack's Barbecue. That's just that internal name. The logo set, so let's add in our supporting image. To add images, that'll be here from the Images tab on the left. You can upload images here, or it will have those ones it pulled off your website for you. I will grab this one, so it's a drag and drop again. Get that on in there. That's looking good. As I mentioned earlier, every image should be a clickable link. So let's link this to a link. So I'm going to click on it, click link. I'm going to link it to a web page. Now this one, I'm not just going to do the generic main website. I want to link this to the same place as my call to action. So I'm going to be asking people to make a reservation. So I'll have the image linked to the reservation page, and I'll insert that. So now if someone happens to click there, they can go straight to that action I want them to take. Next, we need to put in the headline, the paragraph, and the call to action. I'm actually going to start with my body text here. So let's click delete that. I have a brisket promotion, and I need to, in this section, with 3 to 5 sentences or 20 lines of text, I need to show the value. I need to ask myself, why do people care about this? And this text is going to draw them towards taking the action I want them to take. So you can type, copy and paste, whatever you want in here. Or if you need a little assistance or just want to run your content through our AI generator, you can. You'll see this Write with AI option at the top. So I'm going to go into that and actually type in the information I need to send out and have it write a little few sentences for me. So let's see, I have a brisket promotion available. It's buy one, get one free. Offer ends Sunday at 9 p.m. Just putting in all the details here. And make a reservation. That's going to be the call to action. Then you choose the tone. So if you want to just keep it default, professional, enthusiastic, informative, approachable, persuasive, think about your goal, think about your voice as a company, as a business, think about your audience. You can, click on any one of these and decide which one you like best, but I'm going to go with enthusiastic because we're just really trying to get people here into the restaurant, and then I'll click create. And then it'll put together something for me. I can read through this, I can modify it, I can do a new prompt, and if I like it, I can insert it. So let's see, it says, hey barbecue lovers, get ready for a flavor explosion at Jack's Backyard Barbecue with our sizzling brisket promotion. That's right, when you buy one mouth-watering smoked brisket, you'll get another one free. Definitely enthusiastic. I like that. So let's insert it. And now it's in there. And this is fully customizable. So if maybe the emojis are a little too much for my personal business, we don't use that in our marketing a lot, I could delete them. Maybe I do like that one at the end. And then, so I have my body text. Now I need to get my headline in place. This is just really short, no more than 1 to 2 sentences. And this is, what are you offering? What is this email about? I kind of like to do this second because then I can look at my content here and pull out some phrasing for my headline. Like I could even say, get ready for a flavor explosion at Jack's Backyard Barbecue. Or I think what I'd rather say is buy one, get one free promotion going. Buy one, get one free promotion. This is where you want to make clear what the offer is. So we don't want to bury that in the text. It should be what they see right there. All right, next is the call to action. This is, as I've been talking about, the action we want them to take, which is to make a reservation. To edit this button, I'll click on the button, highlight, type something else for the text, make a reservation. All the editing options are on the left. The main thing I really need to do is get in a link. So we'll link that to a web page and get that. It's going to be the same link as the picture was linked to. And now I'm done. So because I had a master template, all I have to do is a picture, paragraph, call to action. Everything else is good to go. So once I'm ready to send, couple things you want to do first is a preview and a test. Here under the preview, it just gives you a quick idea of what it all looks like. All the links become live and clickable. So I would want to make sure to click on everything to make sure it goes to the right place. I can also view what it looks like on mobile. It's mobile responsive. And we even have this inbox feature, which this is an add-on called Inbox Preview. For $10 a month, you can have it show you what this will look like on specific email programs, because every email program displays things a little bit differently, from Gmail, Apple, Outlook. They all look slightly different. So you want to make sure it looks okay across all the platforms, and Inbox Preview will show you ahead of time what that all looks like. So if you want to add that on, click there, it'll pull up and you can add it. Now you still want to send it to yourself first. The preview helps, but you also want to come up here and send a test. And you can send this to up to 5 people for your test send. Even add a little note if you want. And then when you send it, pull it up in your inbox, make sure it looks okay there as well, test all the links. And if all of that's looking good, then you're ready to send it for real. So to do that, you'll click continue in the top right. So we uploaded our list earlier, so that is all good to go. If you're following along, whether it's live or on the recording, I would encourage you to at least get a list of 1 or 2 people, if not your full contacts, uploaded so you can test this out. But I'm going to send this to my Jack's Barbecue contacts list. So I check that box. My subject line and my pre-header, I want to make sure I get that updated. We even have a little AI suggestion tool for this as well. So I could click recommended subject lines. It scans the content of my email and will pull up some suggestions for me. Definitely don't leave the default text, because this is the text that's in like every constant contact template. So you want to stand out in the inbox. So let's do, I like this, offer ends this Sunday. The pre-header is a line of text that shows up after or under the subject line in an inbox. So one more opportunity to catch their attention. Let's just say buy one, get one free promotion. Insert that. Everything else looks good to go. Add your address if you haven't yet. This is required by law to have in the footer, like I mentioned. If you don't want to put a physical address, a PO box works as well. Then choose the date you want to send it. You can do it now and it'll go out within a few minutes. Or maybe I want to save this for Monday, 10:15 a.m., let's say. Then I click schedule and it's scheduling itself and we're done. So it did take us some time to get that master template set up, but then you saw once I had it saved in my templates, it took me 5 minutes maybe to put that together and send out. All right, so it's scheduled. It'll send at the day and time I chose, and I am good to go, like I said. Now we're nearing the end of our time, so I'll just wrap up by hopping back to the home page and just kind of show you what we have here moving forward to work with. And then I do want to make sure to get to any questions at the end. But here on my home page, I have my performance, summary of my performance, my contacts, my open rates, contact growth. The reason why mine is 100% is because I sent an email to one person and opened it. Usually 100% is pretty rare. Down here's all my recent campaigns I've been working on. We have this content assistant. So this is, you can actually create a template and type in what email you want to send, and it'll create the template and the content for you all at once. So if you'd rather try that out, that's an option. And then there is these options here. I can jump in and start creating any of the other campaigns I want to. I will also emphasize, you'll probably have some questions after this, and I'll talk about some of the resources we have available in a minute. But coming up here to the question mark, this is a perfect place to get answers. Just type something in here, and then we'll pull up articles that will be helpful. And then we also have a lot of different resources as well. Contact us is different ways to get in contact with marketing experts or support staff to help you out as well. But with that, let's hop back into the slides, wrap up, and get to some questions. All right, so at this point, you are ready to take the information you learned. You can log into your account if you haven't already, and create and save that master template with all your branding information. Now you can have multiple master templates, one for a newsletter, one for an announcement. So you can definitely have more than one. But then once you have that, you have this really strong starting point to be able to send out emails quickly. So like I said, then you have that template, you choose it, add your content, and hit send. And then your contact list. That's part of this whole process as well. Choose one of those different methods we looked at, get those uploaded, and then you'll be good to go. Now I do want to let you know, like I said, lots of resources to help. One such resource is our professional marketing services. Whether you need help putting together your marketing plan with an expert, coming up with content, list growth strategies, or just need someone to do the work for you. If you're looking at this and asking yourself, can someone just do this for me? Yes, we do have those services. Your dedicated marketing expert will make it easy for you as you're setting up the account, and even beyond that, you can strategize, develop, and implement a successful marketing plan. Rates start as low as $60 a month for that, for a marketing coach, and a couple other options as well where they can do the work for you. So there is going to be a pop-up on your screen with a link. If you're interested, click on that link. That'll bring you to the page with all the options. You can read through those, sign up for someone to give you a call. They can talk you through it and add it on for you. But otherwise, let's get to your questions. I see my colleague has answered several already as the session has been going on, so that is awesome. But I can answer a few now as well, since we have a few minutes. And actually, I see a really good one that just came in. Betty asks, I'm not running a promotion. I'm sending a newsletter. What if I need more content? Yeah, that's a great question, because I'm sure a lot of you are doing newsletters or doing more informational type emails. So you can add more content for sure. Let's pull back up our master template. The key is not making your email too long. And you don't want too many topics, because then there's just too many things to focus on. It takes too much time to read the email. People are checking emails on their phones these days, in between meetings, on the go. They're not going to have a lot of time to read an email. So that's why if you can keep it to just one topic, that's perfect. But if it is like a newsletter, just informational type things, you can drag in other layouts. Lots of good options here. Maybe I want to have another article in here, maybe this feature article. I can drag and drop that in, and then I would have that content. Maybe I'd want a spacer under that as well, something like that. And maybe one more that looks like this with a spacer. But I really wouldn't do more than 2 or 3 sections like this. There are ones with columns next to each other too, which kind of helps condense the content. But then in each section, the text box should always be 3 to 5 sentences with a call to action or a link to read more, get more information. So it's just all about balancing the length of the email with the content. But of course, add all the content you need. You can see this is already kind of long. I have to scroll quite a bit to get from the top to the bottom. So keep that in mind. Keep a look at your reporting. You will get reporting on clicks. So you can see how many things people are clicking on. If people aren't engaging with some of the content towards the bottom, maybe you decide, I'll send another email next week and keep this one a little shorter type of thing. Which that actually brings up a good question I saw come in. How many emails should I send a month? So that's, yeah, really good question there. And our suggestion is at a minimum, send once a month. You don't want people to forget about you. You need to stay top of mind and be recognizable as a brand in their inbox. But at the same time, you don't want to send too often. So I wouldn't do more than once a week. Our very ideal timing would be twice a month. That's sort of the blanket answer I would give. However, that doesn't apply to every business, every content, every goal. So take that as a guideline and go from there. Once again, check your reporting. If open rates are dropping and you're sending a ton of emails, maybe you know then it's time to pull back. You can look at things like that. All right, let's do one more question. Augustine asked, I saw on the scheduling page, resend to non-openers. What does that mean? Yeah, let's hop over to that. So resend to non-openers is this checkbox here. This sets it up to where the email will send automatically again to the people that didn't open it. So this can be really effective in getting your message out there to more people because some people might miss it the first time. You can have it resend anywhere from 12 hours to 10 days. I think 12 hours is probably too soon. You need to give people time to open it the first time because they might be busy. You know, give it at least maybe 2 days and then go from there. You can change the subject line as well to grab their attention differently. And then when you confirm it, that'll all be automated as well. All right, well, I don't see any other questions. I think we got to some good ones and everyone else was able to get answers from my colleague in the chat. So I'll just wrap up with a reminder of all those great resources I mentioned. If you have topics about or questions about the topics we've discussed in today's session, we have a variety of resources. We have the tutorials, FAQ articles, recorded webinars, more live webinars. Our support team, you can call and chat them. We have a new customer hub at constantcontact.com/get-started. On there, lots of good resources, including an Ask a Trainer drop-in session that you can hop into and get questions from a trainer. So I'll include the link to the new customer hub in my follow-up email. You'll also get a recording and a handout in that email as well. So keep an eye out for that. It'll usually takes about 2 hours to go out once the recording's ready, and you can watch that. Also, when the webinar ends today, there will be a survey that pops up. If you have another minute or two to spare, it's 4 quick questions. Love to read your responses. Always appreciate feedback, so feel free to fill that out. But otherwise, thanks for joining us for our webinar today and have a good rest of your day.